After moving to Georgia and joining a new school, the narrator noticed a girl for the first time, conveniently after talking to Darren about girlfriends. He takes a liking to her and she seems to reciprocate the feeling back. After not confronting each other much, he finally came up to the narrator and asked if he was a werewolf.
Hey, this might be a weird question, but are you a werewolf? Oh, whoa.
Uh,
Brittany then pulled a silver bullet out of her pocket and gave it to the narrator, getting him to flinch at the sight of it. He took the bullet, took a second to examine it, noticing it didn't burn him like it would have his aunt and uncle.
I knew it.
what do you know?
That you're a werewolf?
Realizing he had made some sort of mistake, he pocketed the bullet and ducked out of the room into his next class, trying to make sense of what had just happened.
Where'd you get this?
Found it.
This is some fine craftsmanship. There's only one guy I've heard of who can make something like this. Where'd you say you got it?
A girl gave it to me.
A girl?
Who's the guy?
Someone your grandpa knew. Used to make silver bullets. Grandpa had to buy some to take care of his sad eyes. What's the girl's name?
Our narrator could not believe the legend his uncle was telling him.
This scene connects to Thesis 3 because it shows that if he puts it in his mouth, he would not be considered a werewolf. He wants to be a werewolf, and doing this would further show him that he is not and would affect him. Thinking that you are not really a werewolf can put you into category crisis because they are no longer what they are. This can relate to werewolves in general since they are neither man nor wolf. This is referenced a lot throughout the novel.
You want me to put it in my mouth?
And this will burn you.
How do you know if you're right?
My grandpa told me.
The one who made these?
Yeah, he told me what to watch out for.
For...
Our narrator knew that the minute he put it in his mouth, she would leave, because it meant he wasn't really a werewolf.
I found out that you're a werewolf through algebra.
Because I'm bad at math?
Brittany told the narrator she noticed him panting a lot in the hot algebra classroom.
Werewolves can hide everything that they do, besides the breathing, of course.
Why'd you try to find me?
Because I'm going to be a werewolf, and you're going to help me. I tried everything on how to turn into a werewolf, drinking water from a wolf's paw print and downstream from a river, rolling in the sand in the full moon, and the others. But now, there's you.
Wouldn't your grandfather just shoot you if you became a werewolf?
He wouldn't shoot me, doesn't have any guns, just sells the bullets to collectors.
2 days later, the bullet showed up again, not being silver.
You can see the areas in this scene that connects to Thesis 6. Fear of the monster is really a kind of desire. Although Brittany knows about some of the risks and fears of becoming a werewolf, including everything she was seemingly taught by her grandfather, it all seems to make her want to be a werewolf all the more. As the narrator says, the werewolf who had played his grandfather's game as a way of educating her. This shows that the fear of the grandfather was inflicting on his granddaughter made her want to become a werewolf even more.
Later, the narrator and Brittany skip class to meet on top of the school. Brittany gives the narrator a quiz from a magazine to see if he had any of the characteristics for being a werewolf. He didn't. After school, the two go to a gas station to get drinks and also steal some candy. While they're doing this, they have a run-in with Darren and soon realize he was following them, but just continue along their way to Brittany's house. Brittany and the narrator made it to her house and are about to meet their grandfather.
So this is the young werewolf.
You make the bullets. Where do you get this silver?
Customer brings it.
The narrator got why the bullets weren't real silver then.
So you two are like enemies, right? If werewolves were real.
The narrator was being studied by the grandfather. He noticed. The narrator was upset that he had been made fun of, so he turned in early to read Romeo and Juliet. As he was about to go to sleep, he heard scratching at his window, and soon shattered. Brittany's grandfather was coming through the window as a werewolf. Darren leapt into action from the living room without even being in wolf form yet, and saved our protagonist. Her grandfather kept coming after the narrator.
This connects to Thesis 5 because the grandpa scamming people by using fake silver bullets can help start people to believe that werewolves aren't real. The people who buy the bullets and then use them will see no effects from the silver, so they will end up coming to the conclusion that werewolves aren't real. People are starting to think that werewolves aren't actually real bridges between a werewolf and human because the werewolves can seem more human-like more often. However, the grandfather is a werewolf and his existence as a monster served to warn both his granddaughter and others about the dangers of werewolves. By pretending to be a werewolf hunter, he dissuades her from going after them because he knows what being a werewolf was like. A quote from the narrator in reflection on the grandfather's death: "He was trying to keep her safe from werewolves like me."
Brittany's grandfather was not able to shift back even a bit because of how old he was, so Darren carried the werewolf onto the highway to act as roadkill, the burial for the oldest werewolf of their time. The wolf who had saved their lives many times by making fake bullets, who had been trying to protect his daughter. Our narrator saw the roadkill and fought with the two football players for throwing rocks at the body. Brittany thought her grandfather had gone missing and wanted to find him.
I could find him. I could find him if I use my nose like you can.
You don't want this.
You're my only chance.
The bite commenced to no avail. Sadly, at the end of the adventure in Georgia, the family had to move once again.